All right, dude. I have a prediction. The Switch Pro will be a portable, screenless Switch, and it will be TV only. Let's talk about it. So, why do I think that? First, we have to look at the history of Nintendo and the history of Nintendo consoles. So, dating all the way back to the NES and Super Nintendo, you have Nintendo with what I guess you would call two pillars. One being the home console, which would be the NES or the SNES. And then you also have the second pillar of a portable console. So what does that look like? The NES and SNES had the original Game Boy, and then you move on to the N64, and it had the Game Boy Color. You have the GameCube, Game Boy Advance, Wii DS, Wii U, 3DS, and now the Switch has the Switch Lite. But why is that so important? Well, number one, I think that looking at Nintendo, we can all agree they like to innovate, okay? But when you really look at their handhelds, they aren't that innovative until you get to the DS, okay? I think what Nintendo always is thinking is, we're going to innovate on the home console front and make sure that our handhelds make the most money, and that's pretty much been the case, right? Handhelds have consistently sold well for Nintendo, whereas home consoles, realistically, have not always sold well. NES sold well, SNES sold well, but then the N64 didn't perform as well. GameCube sold terribly, which was a shame. Wii sold amazing, Wii U flopped, and now we're onto the Switch, which is a hybrid. But then you look at the Game Boy, best-selling. Game Boy Color, best-selling. Game Boy Advance, best-selling. DS, best-selling. 3DS, best-selling. 3DS even succeeded when people thought it would fail in the face of mobile games. So now, when you look at Nintendo and the position that they're in, you see, from their perspective, they have put themselves in a corner, and they needed to put themselves in this corner. They needed to try something innovative, and it worked. It paid off for them. We all get it. I'm not going to do a big history lesson about what happened. Switch is a huge success, massive success. But now, where do they go from there? And I think that this is the problem that people overlook. They don't think about, if you were Nintendo and you just got rid of and killed your handheld line and your home console line to make a hybrid, what do? Okay, well, what did they do? They made a hybrid, and then they made a handheld. And I remember, at the time, everybody was saying, oh, how are they going to make a Switch Mini, because it wasn't even called Switch Lite at the time, Switch Mini. How are they going to make a Switch Mini when it needs Joy-Cons, and it needs a dock? Are they going to make mini Joy-Cons and a mini dock? And that's going to be really confusing, and no one's going to know how it works, and that's so weird. What about parents going into the stores? But what did they do? They obviously were like, hey, we don't know if the next console that we make is going to be successful, so we need to make a handheld. And it was called the Switch Lite, and that came out, and it's been pretty dang successful. Okay, so what did they do by doing that? They basically reopened up their handheld division. But what they have not done yet is open up their home console division again. So the problem that everybody said was, oh, how can it be a Switch if it doesn't switch? But that's just the way that you're thinking about it in terms of actual mechanical use, right? Everybody knows that the Switch, it got its name because it switches from home console to handheld. And it's amazing. It's an amazing concept. But I think Nintendo is smart enough to realize that that novelty can be copied, number one. And two, it won't be a novelty forever. So maybe it'll work for the Super Switch, but maybe it won't work for the Switch 3 and the Switch 4. And I don't even think Nintendo wants to do that many Switches, if we're being honest. I think that Nintendo wants to try something new on their next console. Maybe they'll do a Super Switch or a Switch 2. But after that, we can't guarantee that they're going to make a Switch 3. And what does that even look like? Oh, HD screen and better controller support, and by controller support, I mean more comfortable Joy-Cons. But what does that look like? Nintendo doesn't care about 4K. They don't care about refresh rate. They don't care about anti-aliasing, obviously, which sucks. They don't care about graphics. So what does a Switch Pro even look like? They've never made a Switch Pro, a Pro of any console, of any handheld. They've never made a Pro. Yes, I know they made a new 3DS XL or whatever it's called, and it had a little bit of a boost, but that was just a boost so they could play Smash Bros. Properly. That wasn't even a big boost. It wasn't a 3DS Pro. So now what do? If you're looking as Nintendo, and you look at the markets that you own, or you used to own and then you killed, you go, okay, we have a dedicated handheld now, but we do not have a dedicated home console. That is what the Switch Pro will be, and I guarantee it won't be called the Switch Pro, for whatever that's worth. But what is the Switch Pro going to be if it's not a Switch Pro? Okay, I think what it's going to be is a little tiny black box, similar to a PlayStation TV. I really think it's going to look like the PlayStation TV a lot. It's going to have a little cartridge spot where you can put all your games from your original Switch and your Switch Lite. It's going to come bundled with a Pro controller. It's going to have HDMI out, and that's it. It may have a little thing for surround sound, like a little optical image. But other than that, it's going to just be a little box that you can play Switch games on. Now, again, with the old phrase, well, how can it be called a Switch if it doesn't switch? Okay, got it. They obviously do not care about that. Think about it. They don't care about it. They have a Switch that switches itself mechanically, but then they also have a Switch Lite. So why are they calling it a Switch Lite when it can't switch? It's all about the brand now, Switch. Because what are you actually switching? You're switching between, if you have a home console Switch or an OG Switch, whatever you want to call it, and you have a Switch Lite, what are you actually doing when you use both of them? You use cloud saves and you switch between them. So I think what Nintendo wants to do is they want to open up their other pillar, their home console division, and they want to be able to switch between the three. So if you have the OG Switch, you can switch on the TV with the Switch Pro or the Switch TV or whatever you want to call it. You can switch from that to Switch Lite, and then slowly, they can phase out the OG Switch. And why would they do that if it's such an innovative idea? Well, I think because what the Switch did, amongst other things, is that it really merged their handheld and home console divisions. So now they don't have any discrepancies as far as games being shared, right? There is no handheld game, and there is no home console game, exclusively at least. So I think what they're looking to do is separate both their home console and handheld division again. And what that does is, if they want to innovate next console generation with a new home console, they're going to have a handheld, a dedicated handheld like they always have, and that will be their failsafe because everybody loves Nintendo handhelds. For some reason, they just always succeed for them. So I think that's why and what Nintendo is thinking. I think it's a very easy thing to sell. So let me paint you a picture. Dig, if you will, a picture. There's a commercial. Teens, okay, they have a Switch Lite. And then they're like, hey, I'm gonna go to my friend's house. And then they grab the little Switch TV or Switch Pro or whatever. They just put it in their back pocket. It's really small. No bigger than a deck of cards. Maybe a little bigger. They put it in their back pocket. They go to their friend's house. They pull it back out. They just plug into an HDMI. Cool, we're good. I have my Switch. I have my games in it. I have everything I need. I have a little controller. It's gonna come with the Pro controller. And it's gonna be very portable. So you're switching between the things. So then let's say you're like, oh, I wanna play handheld mode. I wanna play with a screen. You just do your cloud saves and then you go on your Switch Lite and that's it. Now, if that's the realization that we have, what is this thing gonna be priced? I think it's gonna be the lowest price Switch of them all. I think it's gonna be as low as $99 and as high as $150, $149.99. Why do I say that? Well, because they already have the OG Switch taking up the $299. They have the Switch Lite, $199. So what's $100 less than $199? $99. And why would people buy it? Because it's only $99. That's such an easy way to get into the Switch ecosystem. $99, and it comes with the Pro controller, you're done. The Pro controller itself is already $60, $70. So this thing's only gonna be $30, $40. It's a cheap little thing. And it's gonna be the perfect little impulse buy, the perfect little thing for people that want the full Switch experience. Something that they don't have to leave their console docked all the time. They can just leave that plugged in. And then if you want, you just get the OG Switch or the Switch Lite, and that's what you play portably. I really think that this is what Nintendo's gonna do. I think everyone's been thinking about the Switch Pro wrongly. And I think we're all gonna be surprised, except for you, because you watched this video. And that's it. All right, dude. Talk to you later.